Welcome to Freedom's Herald, a bulwark against that which would erode your liberties. Hi, I'm Tom Gandley. You know, President Ronald Reagan, over the course of his long life and storied career, commented on more than one occasion that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-fought lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children that what it once was like in America when men were free. In the United States, our current degree of political dichotomy has become one of very tenuous stability. The guiding ideologies have diverged greatly, and one side has become ever more firmly entrenched in a course of binding control and the diminution of both individual and institutional freedoms, coupled with an uncompromising approach to achieving its ends. Western culture and civilization has as its core centuries of developed values forged in a crucible of desire to become the most intellectually rigorous, scientifically sound, and politically successful peoples on earth. And it worked. European political tradition, by extension, gave the United States the platform by which to influence humanity for the better. Nevertheless, the adage that the fall of a nation begins in the homes of its citizens is playing out in the U.S. right now. Back in 1927, an American socialist, Norman Thomas, six-time candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said that the American people would never vote for socialism, but he said under the name of liberalism, the American people would adopt every fragment of the socialist program. In the recent past, a law called the Fairness Doctrine controlled the volume of political speech on the airwaves. It imposed silence on the greater volume of dialogue an area heard or viewed that was deemed either conservative or liberal. The Fairness Doctrine was declared unconstitutional during the Reagan presidency. It was rightly identified as being a violation of the First Amendment. It was nothing more than mass government censorship. The Fairness Doctrine was inherently unfair. Conservative talk shows exploded across the country after its repeal. It seemed that the American public had been deliberately starved of conservative dialogue and commentary for decades. Democrats attempted to resurrect a new version of the Fairness Doctrine after they witnessed the influence of conservative radio on the masses, but President Obama said he refused to sign it. Now there are once again grumblings about drafting another Fairness Doctrine, clearly to stifle conservative talk radio by government censorship. Friends, we are a nation of laws. The First Amendment clearly states, and I quote, "Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech," unquote. We the people, you, the citizenry, are the defenders of all our freedoms, with the right to criticize the government, its policies and directions, or the social status quo, without the government telling you not to. And indeed, the government and all its entities, to include colleges and university campuses, must protect that freedom, not curtail in the interest of safety, security, or the most foolish reason for censorship of our day, hurt feelings. Too many young people, indoctrinated into a school system with its underlying preponderance of leftist tutelage, have convinced almost 40% of our college-aged men and women that laws which censor free speech are actually good, if it protects people from being hurt or offended. To many, in this demographic, freedom can be tossed aside. When college students threaten and violently attack speakers who promote scientifically proven theories because they refuse to let their narrative or feelings be declared false, when universities refuse to allow lectures on their campus because they are too controversial, our educational system has then become a handmaiden of tyranny and oppression. In 1838, while speaking at a lyceum or educational symposium in Europe, Abraham Lincoln, then only 29 years old, spoke words that are as appropriate today as they were in the decade leading up to the Civil War. He said, "When shall we expect the approach of danger? Shall some transatlantic giant step the earth and crush us at a blow? Never. Not the greatest armies of Europe, Asia, or Africa, combined with all the treasure of the earth, could by force drink from the Ohio River, or make track upon the Rockies in the trial of 1,000 years. If death is cast as our lot, we will be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we will live forever, or die by suicide. If freedom, as we Americans have known it in our near 250-year history, is to remain, we must do as President Reagan implored, and ever educate and remind the next generation of what they may sacrifice for a little temporary comfort, or we will see our triumph of man's liberty go away, as President Lincoln warned, by suicide. This has been an episode of Freedom's Herald. I'm Tom Gandley.